So good afternoon. I'm Dina Dublon. I am delighted to introduce my dear friend and colleague, Indra Nooyi. I met Indra about 15 years ago. I had the privilege of being in the group that elected her as CEO of PepsiCo late in '06. I do remember very vividly her first annual shareholders meeting as chairwoman, when she talked in very personal terms about access to drinking water as a human right. I was so incredibly proud of this new woman CEO launching on that stage Performance with Purpose as the strategic umbrella for the following 12-year tenure as chairman and CEO. Under her leadership, the company focused on embedding sustainability into operations, from making healthier products to protecting the environment to lifting people around the world. It was a fundamental shift in companies' culture and in business operations. For Indra, it was always personal too. So just a small example. When the UN issued a report on the impact of armed conflict on children, Graça Machel's report, for those of you who know, Indra was so disturbed by the statistics on girls' education, she distributed hard copies of the report to PepsiCo executives and board members. Then she strongly encouraged us all to find a way on our own dime to contribute to the cause. Indra has been vocal in the US and in global forums on girls' education and women's rights, including enabling women in the workforce. She has supported girls' schools in India, in the US, and recently endowed the Dean's Chair at the Yale School of Management. I'm thrilled that the Women's Refugee Commission set up the Indra Nooyi Fund for refugee girls' education. We have 150,000 of your contributions to date. Thank you. As a woman who emigrated to the US, reached the top of the corporate ladder, and then steered the company towards socially conscious operations, Indra's story is one of perseverance, caring, and courageous leadership. I have experienced Indra's caring during a period of prolonged illness. I cherish that quality of hers in my heart. Indra is a role model for women in business, showing her softness and her toughness as a leader. But mostly, she is a role model for all of us who hope to make a difference in the world. I'm happy her family is here to be inspired and to share with her the moment. For her commitment to advancing gender equality and girls' education, it is really my great honor to present this 2019 Voices of Courage Award to Indra Nooyi.
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you, Dina, for that warm introduction. As Dina mentioned, she was one of the most outstanding directors on the PepsiCo board of directors. She was my boss for 15 years, 20 years, something like that, Dina. And over the years, I've come to value not just her wisdom and friendship, but her humanitarianism and generosity of spirit. So, Dina, thank you for everything you've done, not just for me or for PepsiCo, but for women and girls all over the world. And thank you. And thank you to the Women's Refugee Commission. It means so much to receive this award from this organization. Few organizations in the world are such tireless advocates for refugees. Few are doing as much for women and girls around the world who need us most. And that cause, the cause of women and girls, is close to my heart, as Dina mentioned. When I was growing up in southern India, girls didn't often get the same kind of opportunities and the same kind of support as boys did. Fortunately, that was not the case in my family. My parents and grandparents, especially my father and my grandfather, always made sure that all the girls were treated the same as all the boys. And I've been a big believer that all of us who've been fortunate enough to find success should pay it forward, that we should lift as we climb. So that's what I've tried to do over the course of my career. During my years as CEO of PepsiCo, I tried to use that platform and our company as a whole as forces for good in the world. Just to give you a couple of examples, we created a manufacturing line in Saudi Arabia exclusively for women employees and arranged transportation so they could get to work and get back home because they were not allowed to drive. We supported a range of STEM and other education initiatives for women and girls in many of the 200 countries and territories that PepsiCo operated in. And we partnered with the UEFA Foundation for Children and the Asian Development Football Project to open football pitches at the Zaatari and Azraq refugee camps in northern Jordan. And that includes a girls-only pitch in Zaatari. So, I am truly proud of all that we accomplished. And yet, as I stand here this afternoon, looking out at all of you, I'm humbled. I'm moved, I'm inspired. Because I'm mindful of all of the work, the difficult, the trying, the profoundly urgent work that so many of you are doing day in and day out on behalf of refugees all over the world. We all know the numbers. We heard it from the people before us. 68.5 million people are displaced around the world today, more than any time in history, including after the Second World War. And as many as 80% of them are women and children. If you did the math, that's more than 50 million people who are women and children. In the face of such staggering numbers, it is easy to be overwhelmed, easy to feel disconnected from the lives, the women behind the numbers, each with her own struggles, her own dreams, her own story. Stories like Emi Mahmood. Emi fled Sudan with her family when she was a baby, and in 2016, graduated from Yale, where she studied anthropology and molecular cellular developmental biology. Emi Mahmood, amazing story. Stories like Meena Jaff. Meena was born in Iraqi Kurdistan before becoming a refugee in Iran and dedicating her life to fight for refugees and women's rights. Meena Jaff. Seema Samar's story includes spending 17 years in exile in Pakistan and starting an organization that's providing everything from medical care to education for women and girls in Afghanistan and Pakistan. And Maggie Barankitse's story is a story of a remarkable humanitarian activist going all the way back to the day in 1993 when she rescued 25 children from a massacre in Burundi. We'll have the privilege of hearing from these extraordinary women shortly. They truly are the voices of courage. So are Sarah Costa and every one at the Women's Refugee Commission. And so are all of you, the NGOs, government corporations, activists and advocates, physicians and relief workers, fighting each and every day to help women recover, rebuild, and find a way forward for themselves and their family. I have one hope. I really, really hope that in my lifetime, we are all witness to an environment where all women are cherished, respected, and treated as equal members of society, and we don't have to focus on helping them recover, rebuild, or restore their dignity. In closing, I'm honored to receive this award and recognition, but most of all, I'm appreciative of the opportunity to be here to recognize your work and your commitment, to express my admiration and my gratitude to everyone here for all you're doing to make our world more equal and more just. Thank you very much.